800 DPI is the best. There's no point in using 400 DPI, and 1600 DPI is just way too high, right? People who use 400 DPI, I mean, they just suck at the game, right? They're just bad. No, I'm just kidding. Hello everyone, I'm Mike. So today, I'm going to talk about DPI. And I'm specifically going to talk about what DPI is best, both from an objective and a subjective standpoint. You know, possibilities, whatever. And you might think, well, we go out on my desktop. It's unedited. Yeah, sorry about that. Go out to my desktop here. You'll see that this long sheet of Valorant pros and just players, whatever. 400 DPI. Ooh, a couple 450. 800 DPI. 1000, 1400, whatever. You got, and then you got some 1600 DPI. I mean, you'd probably think, well, the one that uses the one DPI that's being used the most is obviously the best. Well, no, not necessarily. So let me show you in ways that, you know, some DPIs are better than others. So I'm gonna take the sensitivity here and put it on. Let's put it on 1.2. Whoops, put it on 1.2. Go out and G Hub and put my DPI on 400. Okay. And I'll pull out the op here, double zoom, and just take a look at the mouse movement here, right? You see that? I'm moving slowly, right? I'm moving, trying to move pixel by pixel. You see this? Yeah, that doesn't look good, right? It's like a stair. It's moving and like it's like going downstairs or something. You see that? Up and down, up and down. It's like a pyramid almost. Or just like a stairway. It's like making a stairway, right? Half the sensitivity. Double the DPI. Oh, it suddenly got smoother. You notice that? You see? Smoother now. See, the stairs are not as big. Half the sensitivity. Double the DPI. You see, this is where it becomes it's you can barely see it, right? You can barely see it. It looks really smooth now, and the pixel by pixel side to side here looks really nice as well. So I mean, out of that, you'd say 1600 DPI. I mean, that is the best, right? That is the best. Well, not necessarily. Well, there is one more thing that I can talk about before I go to that. So this video, or this video by Battle Nonsense, actually has a spreadsheet of input lag from mouse movement from the Razer Viper 8K, and he tested other mice as well, but he wanted to show like the difference between polling rate in terms of input lag. But he also found that the DPI actually made a difference. So when you do 125 hertz, you see here 125 hertz. On the different DPIs, it's not a big difference, right? It's not a big difference. 1000 hertz, which is by far the most prominently used polling rate, you see that there's a difference, right? You see? 20 milliseconds, 16 milliseconds, and, well, 16.75 and 15.99, right? You go to 8000 polling rate. You have 28 milliseconds, 8 milliseconds, and 5 milliseconds. And that's why I'm saying, like, 1600 DPI, it's a very nice average, right? But here's another problem. Here's another problem. We can't just let computers decide what's best, right? We can't just do that. We can't just succumb to computers. That sounds like a stupid statement, but I think people already knew this. I think people already knew like all the pro players, I think they already knew that 400 DPI in terms of smoothness, it's inferior to 1600, and the same goes for 800. It's inferior to 1600 in smoothness. But people are still using 400 DPI and 800 DPI regardless. Why? Because that's what they prefer. And honestly, the different DPIs give you a different experience, especially when you play low sensitivity. It makes a noticeable difference, right? Also, when you play high sensitivity, like high sensitivity, or not high sensitivity, but high eDPI players would mostly prefer a high DPI because it's smoother. But a player playing on a lower sensitivity or a lower eDPI might prefer lower DPI because it feels more snappy, right? It feels more snappy. And you see that a lot of Valorant pros are really snappy, so they really like 400 and 800 DPI. 1600 DPI doesn't feel as snappy. And that's where I'm going to conclude this video. Yes, 1600 DPI is technically better than 400 and 800 DPI in terms of smoothness and in terms of input lag. But in terms of feeling, that's you. That's on you, my friend. If you can adapt to using 1600 DPI, I mean, technically, you're going to be faster than the competition, but it's not going to make a huge difference, okay? It's not going to make a huge difference. Until everyone uses 8K sensors, then you might consider changing to 1600 DPI once and for all. And yeah, that's basically it. I'll see everyone in the next video, and oh yeah, I hope it helped. I hope it helped people that were struggling with a DPI. I would personally recommend to stick between 400 and 2000 DPI. That's a good amount. 400, 800, 1600, those are the three, you know, go-to DPIs. 1600 being the least laggy and most smooth of them all. And yeah, that's it. Now for real, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.